This is known as Drumburgh Castle, a Boustead, or however you pronounce it, B-A-S-T-L-E, and it was built in 1307 to provide protection against reivers. They're like roving bands of brigands and thieves. So the family would live upstairs and the cattle and that sort of thing would be kept downstairs. The same concept, of course, seen all around Europe. And note the two griffins up on top. I'm not sure what they signify, but probably something like safety or defense or whatever. And then here's the heraldic, or the family coat of arms. And this stone cylinder looks like it's something for rolling land flat. An old well, which you thought would have been better placed inside, but that may be just historically something later it was added. Yes, I hope to. So east of Drumburgh, we're on the Solway again, or whatever that body of water is called. And as the farmer indicates, this substantial wind behind me and the dark clouds indicates rain. Surprise! I don't know whether these stones are from Hadrian's wall or from the breakwater, or the wall, if you will, to protect against the tide, or for both. Here's a butterfly, but he very seldom moves. A wing, once in a while a little bit. Must be gorgeous when he opens up. Well, it's tempting to think that this embankment is Hadrian's wall. I don't believe it is. It's designed to be a dike, if you will, protecting the shallow lands to my right, giving them more farmland. That is Boustead Hill on the other side of probably those fields that we can't see. Boustead Hill. Looking at some of those houses, you can well imagine the House of Seven Gables and the soap operas of their day that took place in those buildings. Here's a true environmental optimist. This area with solar panels. One of my favorite little decors. This place is called, I think, the Burgh of Sand. This is a statue of King Edward I, who died in 1387 on a campaign against Robert the Bruce. And Bonnie Prince Charlie, in 1745, led an army of Highlanders south into England after fording the River Eden near Burgh by Sand. Spent the night at Stonebrook Farm in the parish before laying siege to Carlisle. Interesting old cemetery with moss-laden tombstones of rather large size. This is St. Michael's Church, which contains stones from the wall, although I don't know how I would identify them. A couple of these folks lived till they were 76, but it appears that they're all buried in the same spot. That's what the notation seems to suggest. Interesting that the one on the right, as well as the one on the left here, seem to be relatively new. Certainly the one on the right is. The problem with these tombstones is they were made out of this red sandstone, and so they exfoliate, degrade fairly rapidly over time. This is interesting because they seem to be using the sarcophagus motif. A few of these did, just a few. And what of this little one? It's of someone's daughter, but I can't make out the detail. See, if you look at this one, you can see that the panel below the word memory has just those 4 lines, but there's quite a bunch of room underneath for subsequent related family members who died, but they apparently chose not to be interred here. What I find so haunting and frustrating about gravestones is that they give only the barest detail. So-and-so of where he lived and when he died and how old he was, and also his wife, when she died and how old she was. It tells us nothing. It was interesting that in Thailand, out in the Tulis in the Mekong Delta, on a little tour, they told us that they drew a distinction for this ancient village of older people. How they some buried their dead in the church courtyard while others didn't. Here the pathway is off the main road for a while. It's to our right. Here are some pretty flowers, although there are not many at this time of year. These look like they're lady slippers or something like that. And I can't tell if this is a flower or just a piece of feather that blew off of some lady's hat. Another nearby sprig. I'm entering Beaumont from the north end because there was a detour off of the Hadrian's path that went through the fields because of a closure, because of some kind of landslide. So I should pick up the main road and then be back on the path down here somewhere. This is the Eden River. It's just slightly north of the Roman wall. Very placid river. Down there I think is the bridge that is for the main highway going into Carlisle. I think there's an old cemetery underneath that tree. And you wonder if the tree was there before the cemetery or if it's a result of the cemetery and the people buried in it. Imagine the tearsome moments that went on. This is the old railroad bridge. They built things more beautifully in those days, it seems. And up further there is at least the current railroad bridge, because I saw one go across. Can't quite imagine what this moss-covered structure was. But it was an arch form. And there's an arch going underneath. Hi. Yep. Maybe it has something to do with all of these remains, which are curious. There's an archway. I don't know what this is for, though it arches out from there, out in that direction. Well, I'm brought finally to this large park. I have no idea what this big expanse of green is for, but what I found interesting is I think that's the castle that I saw last night. If that's the case, then about in that direction there should be my B&B. This is in the roundabout at the end of the trail where it intersects literally with Carlisle. Each of these different portals giving access to a different part of town. That's the city center in there.